Hey guys, welcome to video number 2 of leaving the city on a budget. I realized, I know I was going to jump into the app in this video, but I realized there was a few details that I overlooked in the last one. So first and foremost, watch the first video before you watch this one, so I can help you reduce or eliminate as much regret as I possibly can. All right. Now I'm speaking to mobile homes specifically because they're cheaper, they're easier to obtain, and they're the easiest and cheapest to fix up. Okay. When you buy older property, this fixer-upper property down here, a lot of the times it's not going to have a furnace in it if it's a house. But see, if you move into a mobile home and the furnace that the manufacturer puts in it is no longer in place, you can run to the Tractor Supply in town. They're everywhere down here. For like $200, you can get one of those brick wall heaters. All right, they're like $200. You can put them up on the wall within an hour, as long as if it's natural gas and you have black iron bringing it in and you have the proper fittings, you got heat in the winter. And if it gets too hot in the summer, you can throw an AC unit in the winter. No big deal. Excuse me. Houses. All right, if you get one without a furnace, these heat pumps, they're popular down here. They're like $5 to $10 grand, and that's just for the hardware. Who knows what it costs afterwards when you pay for labor. These people, they don't do the best work down here, certified or not. So going into those apps, when you're talking about fixer-upper property, those properties about 30 grand, it's the best way to go. Again, they're the cheapest to fix up and the easiest to fix up. You don't want to tap that contact agent button. Most people down here, they focus or they specialize on luxury homes because that's where the money's at. These properties that these agents list down here, they don't necessarily live near them, so sometimes it's an hour or 2 or 3 for them to drive out to show them to you. So if you're talking 30 grand, that's 3 hours from them, and you tap that button and you bring in a third-party agent, now they have to split that commission, and they are most likely going to blow you off from then on. So you messed up. It's always best to deal directly with the listing agent. It's going to make it go a whole lot smoother, and it helps to have cash in hand, so you're better able to negotiate a better price if you can buy it now. They can lie about the amount of land, okay? I know, you don't want to have to wait for a survey. It can take 6 months, and I'm telling you, if you tell me I got to wait 6 months before you buy my house, I'm going to just pass you up and take the next guy, because somebody will roll the dice, and I just want the money from the property. That's just business. But take screen captures of everything. If you set your filters for 1 acre minimum, okay, and you come up with, okay, here goes a house on 1 acre, and then you sign on the dotted line, and then you realize, oh man, it's only 1/4. I thought it was 1 acre, and you go back to the listing, and you see they switched it back. Yes, it's illegal. But down here, all right, they'll say anything to close the deal. Just believe me, okay? So you just want to protect yourself. Again, you want to make sure that, if you have a property with a driveway going up, that you can't see your neighbor's house. If they have if their house is right up to the edge of your driveway, you're going to have a property dispute. I know I brought that up in the last video, but these people next door were just a total pain in the ass for months, but we're cool now. But either way, you don't want to have to go through that because, I got lucky in the end, but you may not. Know that these people will lie. They'll just lie about everything. Even in the photos, okay? I had looked at some property in West Kentucky. I drove 8 hours to see it because it was a house, the kitchen looked nice, and then I get there and it looked like 30 years older than what it actually was. The floors were caved in, those nice painted cabinets on the wall, they were black and moldy, just like watching that movie Silent Hill. You got the nice version, and you got that old derelict beat down version. Yeah, that's what it looked like. I thought that was such a shame, and they told me it was unrestricted. I found out that it wasn't. Some of these areas, you'll be out in the woods and they'll tell you can't own certain types of dogs. Why would you move to the country and not be able to have chickens or own a certain type of dog? That doesn't make sense. Before you sign any sort of agreement with these people, okay, I know you're gonna say verbally over the phone, okay, now I want to put a deposit down. It's going to be refundable because the sale of the purchase of this property, for example, if it's contingent on the sale of the house you're in now, you're going to want to make sure that your deposit is going to be refunded if something falls apart at the closing table, which so often happens. That's what screwed me up. That's why towards the end, I knew, the window was closing, the market was peaking. I didn't want to miss out on the sales. So in the end, out of a handful of properties I was looking at, I missed out on most of them, and I just grabbed that one. I call them, I'll take it, based on a few pictures that I found online. I don't recommend doing that. I did get lucky though. There was a family living in it. I figured, well, it should be livable, right? Not necessarily. I've seen families with young children living in moldy, abandoned buildings down here with no windows in the house. Man, it's another world down here. Move-in ready doesn't mean anything. I mean, a cardboard box is move-in ready. And a lot of these places, when you see what they actually look like when you show up on the property, is pretty close to that. So you want to make sure that when you make that verbal agreement on the phone and they go to DocuSign those paperwork, that paperwork over to you in your inbox, you want to make sure you get your eyes on, okay, yeah, it says, it's refundable or whatever. I was dealing with a guy out of Tennessee, and we had that agreement, and even though it was in writing, it still took me almost 6 months to get that money back. This guy was a huge pain in the ass. Every time I'd ask him, where's my money? You didn't get it yet? That's weird. Well, I wrote the check out to you, man. You should be able to write the check back to me. They'll do anything for money down here. So make sure that is in writing. Don't just sign it just because there was a verbal, okay? You want to make sure that when you're looking at these listings, you get that little section where there's a map with a waypoint. A lot of people just skim right by that and they're just looking at the pictures and they go, okay, I'll drive out there and see it. But if you tap that image, look at the property, turn on that little satellite feature, and try to actually locate that property in that area or close to that area. Sometimes the waypoint markers will be a little off, but sometimes they're nowhere even close to the property. Why would they do that? It's because they're hiding something. And I'll tell you what they're hiding. If you look at a lot of these photos and they got a lot of left hand or right hand angles, they're cutting something out of the picture. Now, again, they can lie about unrestricted property. So, you could always look at these counties and then call City Hall and say, yeah, I was looking at this, house over here on this road. Is that unrestricted? They should be able to answer that for you. Sometimes there's a landfill next door. Sometimes there's a junkyard or a construction site next door or a school. So if you're out in the woods and you're thinking, yeah, I could finally shoot my guns on my own property because I got 10 acres now. Well, if you live next door to a school, you cannot shoot your gun in your property. It's just the way it is, you know what I mean? But another thing you could have is a trailer park somewhere on either side of you or both sides of you. You don't want that. They're the ghettos of the South. You're going to end up with meth heads. I've never found them to be particularly violent, but they're just like petty theft. They'll just steal everything that you leave out. As soon as you turn your back, it's gone. That's why you have to put a no trespassing sign up in your yard in Kentucky. That way, as long as it's clearly displayed, if they're showing up on your property and they have like ill intention, you know what I mean? You can do what you have to do. But I mean, because I'm a human being, I'll give them a warning shot. And when I work on my property, I open carry and I don't say shit to anybody. You know what I mean? Just keep to yourself. A lot of these locals aren't very friendly to people from other places. So, you just, if they want to talk to you, let them approach you. Be cool. But, a lot of people have bed bugs in these parts too. So you don't want to be too quick to let them in your house. Just stay friendly and civil, but at a distance. And then, I get into the people a little bit more in a separate video. But anyway, I hope I didn't go too far over 10 minutes. That's about all I'm going to include in this one. So, guys, watch the first video, then watch this one, and hang in there for part 3. All right? So until that video hits YouTube or Rumble or both, we'll holler at you later.